the axis of the Earth is actually wobbling backwards, right? And that backwards movement is wobbling, and it takes 24,000 to 26,000 years for it to do one cycle, to do one wobble. It's a pretty slow wobble. Now that wobble is there, but according to Walter Crittenden in The Lost Star, now I'm going to be teaching quite a bit out of this right now to prove that we are in a binary with another star, and that star is Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. I'm going to give you some proofs. The wobble is there, definitely acknowledged in this book, The Lost Star of Myth and Time by Walter Crittenden. And he is a scientist that is heading up a team of other scientists around the world who are teaching that we're in a binary, right? I think it was like probably only 50 years ago we thought that there were only 20% of the stars were binaries. Scientists were discovering binaries left, right and centre, and the percentage just keeps going up and up and up. He reckons it's at 80% now. He says in this book that we're up to 80% binary stars, and he says that the only reason why the others are not binaries yet is because we haven't been observing them enough. We can't. We haven't got enough telescopes and stuff like that, but 80% is the fact that it's proven that that stars are binaries. So why would our sun be an exception? Well, it's not, and I'm going to show you that it's not. So this wobble is what they call the precessional wobble. They reckon it takes 24,000 years or thereabouts, and that causes precession. Now, this is the new theory. We've only got two models, by the way, only two scientific models to explain this backward thing that proves that we're in a cycle, because it is a cycle. If the stars all go around once every 24,000 years backwards, that's a cycle, right? So, now, what Walter Crittenden is saying is that we're in a binary with another star and that star fell out of the sky. Now, we're in a binary, and this is the 24,000 year cycle. 24,000 year or 25,920 year, okay? Now I'm going to be using that figure there because there's a lot of good reasons as to why. I might get a chance to explain that later, but I'm going to use that figure there. Nonetheless, you always keep in mind that this is a figure that has been used in conjunction with this cycle. What Walter Crittenden explains in his book is that our two suns, the Sirius, the dog star, the brightest star in the sky, and our sun are in a binary, and they go around clockwise. Woo! Men are like that, they tend to muck it up. Right, so anyway, so this cycle goes around, the sun goes clockwise. It's moving through the heavens clockwise. That's why the stars appear to go the other way, contrary to the normal flow. Now, Sirius was a red star once upon a time, turned blue. I'm going to draw a timeline. Here we are at 2011 over here. Let's put this 1 BCE, and this is 2,000 years BC or BCE. This now, forward of that, this is supposedly the historical Jesus birthday. Okay? 1 BC, or sometimes you see 1 AD or whatever, but it's around there. For the era going this way, you'll have CE, which means common era, or you'll have AD, right? Anno Domini, the year of the Lord. Alright, so now, around about 2,000 years ago, there was a an astronomer called Marcus Manilius, he was the astronomer to Caesar Augustus. He said that Sirius was blue. There he was there's Caesar Augustus, and of course Jesus was born in the reign of Caesar Augustus. Okay, so there we are right there at the other era. And by the way, this is where Aries, this was the age of Aries. Alright? And now this is the age of Pisces, the Christian era. Right? You're going to get a picture of how this works. This is amazing. So it was blue. But Ptolemy, in the 2nd century AD, told me he reckons it's red. And all the people over here, before this blue, was red. Alright? So it was red. Because when objects are moving away from each other in the sky, our eyes will only get the red light that's moving away. And that's called the Doppler effect, I think. I should check that. If I've got it wrong, I'll fix that. But anyway, the Doppler effect. Red shifted means moving away. Blue means coming towards. This is one of the proofs that is offered in the book that we are in a binary. I'm going to show you 4 more. Now I've got 6 or 7 that are in this book. 6 or 7 great reasons as to why we're in a binary. Great reasons. But I'm going to show you 3 or 4 right now.
Can you just explain before, are we in the Sirius in the red binary now, or the blue star?
Well, Sirius is blue.
Well, you've mentioned after 2 AD that was red.
Good point.
Okay.
Alright, so this is Ptolemy.
So it's a red star now?
No, because then here we've got some guys...
Because you said one before 1 BC it was blue.
Yeah, and
Yes. Now this is what happens with stars. Sometimes
But then you've got that arrow going into Aries as red. It should be blue.
Yes, it's always been red. Sirius has always been red. It changed, it turned blue here, then appeared red, and then after this Ptolemaic reference here to it being a red star, it's always been blue, because that's blue.
So why has it gone from red to blue, red, and then blue again? Is that a significant...
This is a puzzle. I've read a lot of literature on this, and it's a big puzzle.
That's a 2-year period. A 200-year period. Sorry.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
So as Sirius was coming around here and changing its colour, as it was doing that, right, it was obviously reddish, bluish, reddish, blue, and then it just changed. I mean, you know, I don't. There's no explanation for it. They say atmospheric factors or whatever, but there was definitely blue, and then it turned red. And then for a short time, and then it became blue, right? And it's blue, right? Now, so this is one of the reasons. I'm going to get into a few more. Every year on January the 1st, now our orbit around the Sun is an ellipse, right? It's not perfect little circle, it's an ellipse, right? So it's elliptical, and it's like that, right? On January the 1st, every year, we are at this point. It's called perihelion, and it is perihelion means that's the sun. Helios. Remember, Helios is the sun, right? Peri means closest to the sun. Over here, and by the way, that's when we're in Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn. When it's in Cancer, it's at apohelion. Okay? Now, that's over there. What happens on that particular day is that our Sun, our Earth, and Sirius line up on that day, on January the 1st. That's what January the 1st is all about. You know, when people go out to celebrate New Year's Eve, they're out there and they're looking at all these fireworks. It's midnight, right? Bang, and all these fireworks go up. they are there to spoil the show. The real show is Sirius. Sirius, the blue star. You look straight up, anywhere you are around the world, look straight up, you'll see Sirius. And you'll see Orion next to it. The dog is chasing its master Orion. And Orion has 3 belts, 3 stars in his belt. Right? And those 3 stars are pointing to Sirius, which are directly above your head. And directly below your feet is the sun. And this happens every year on January the 1st. And people don't realise. Well, let alone, they're watching all these fireworks, these man-made fireworks, when they could be watching nature in its glory. Sirius is the only thing to pay any attention to. And by the way, those 3 stars, they are the 3 stars, the 3 wise men that came to follow the star from the east, right? Because what happens is on that those stars that come up on January the 1st, and also a week earlier in December, they are the 3 wise men that are following the star in the east where the sun is born, because the sun is born on the 25th of December, directly under your feet every year on the 25th of December. That's when the solstice is. Now, isn't it interesting that our Earth is at perihelion at this point? Because what we know is that our Earth, now this is how I would describe the orbits of our suns. Our Earth is hurtling towards Sirius, and Sirius is hurtling towards to our sun, hurtling towards our sun. Sorry, I should be putting the sun on that line, shouldn't I? Because it's on that line. Because our sun is rushing towards Sirius, it's obviously pulling that ellipse, isn't it? It must be. Because half of the year, when this is June and this is January, so they're opposed to it. The June part is 187 days, and this half is 178 days. The sun above the equator is longer than the sun below the equator. That's one proof. Let's go to another proof. Now, it's the best I could do. This is the Great Pyramid in Egypt, the Great Pyramid, okay? It doesn't have a capstone. It doesn't have the top stone, just like the Khafre pyramid that's next to it. It's a little bit taller, and it's a perfect pyramid. This does not have a capstone, but inside this pyramid that's the king's chamber. Okay, that's the king's chamber. That's the queen's chamber. All right. Now this is facing north. This is facing south. Now Sirius is in the south. In the Queen's Chamber there's an air shaft, they call it an air shaft, and it's going south. In the King's Chamber there's an air shaft and it's pointing south. There's another one here pointing... There's another one here pointing north, and then there's another one here pointing north. 2 in the King's Chamber, 1 pointing south, 1 pointing north. 2 in the Queen's Chamber, 1 pointing south, 1 pointing north. This one here points to Sirius. That one there points to Sirius. And it always has been. Because Sirius does not precess. While all those stars are precessing in the precessional year of the equinox, Sirius is always there, faithful and true. Because we're in a binary.